The beautiful, ancient landscape of the British Isles is steeped in legend, myth and folklore, with the northwest of England being recognised as one of the most paranormally active regions throughout the islands. With its enchanted forests and accompanying tales of fairies, boggarts and woodwoes, it's easy to miss these sights unless you take your time and walk the old trails. Approaching the ominous mass of Pendle Hill often leaves hikers feeling oppressed, as though a dark energy was creeping over them. Not quite a mountain, but much more than a hill, Pendle Hill has been the centre of satanic practice for over 400 years, and one can feel the dark history in every step. Known primarily for the infamous Pendle Witch trials of 1612, the hill has expanded its paranormal portfolio over the centuries, gathering up ancient folk tales of giants, ghosts and phantoms, together with a modern era of satanic ritual, UFOs and murder. As we'll see, there's more to Pendle Hill than just the witches. Pendle Hill in East Lancashire stands at 557 metres above sea level, near the towns of Burnley, Nelson, Combe, Clitheroe and Padiham. Prior to the infamous witch trials, the area was long known as a pagan stronghold with its own aligned stone circle, Bronze Age burial ground and ancient folk festivals that are still observed to this very day. Throughout Lancashire, the importance of the Green Man cannot be underestimated, and he still appears through folk art in our modern era. But who was the Green Man? Protector of the forest, as old as time himself. He has become a familiar image to us all. The mysterious Green Man, who links us with England's pagan past, represents the spirits of the ancient forests, at once terrifying and protective, and a representation of the natural cycle of births, deaths and rebirth. Several hundred years ago, Pendle, like much of ancient Britain, was blanketed by forests, which in turn gave rise to various folklore. The Forest of Bowland, in which Pendle sits, was no exception, with many tales of boggarts, these mischievous forest and house spirits growing in popularity, as well as numerous sightings of woodwoes, the ancient British name for the Bigfoot type cryptid, a very tall and powerful human type covered in hair that lived in the ancient forests. Whilst Pendle Hill has long been stripped of its dense tree canopy, existing today as a barren moorland with pockets of trees, there are still accounts of mysterious sightings of 8-foot tall woodwoes. If they do exist, and there have been some very credible and eminent eyewitness testimonies, could they be responsible for some of the mysterious deaths and disappearances from our ancient forests that nobody can explain, the so-called missing 411? Perhaps we'll never know. Despite all of the legends, all of the folk tales that surround this area, it is the terrible events that befell the Pendle Witches that spring to mind whenever somebody mentions the hill. And for good reason. Of the 12 arrested, 10 were publicly executed in one of Great Britain's first recorded miscarriages of justice, and some believe their tortured spirits still haunt Pendle Hill to this very day. In 2007, a team of paranormal investigators, shadowed by an experienced film crew, mounted a large-scale investigation and seance in a haunted barn on Pendle Hill. What followed over the next 12 hours was a harrowing, life-changing experience for some. And now, more than a decade later, some of the survivors are coming back for the very first time.
So the night that we actually went up to Pendle Hill to film the episode for the Paranormal Roadmap, I don't think anybody quite expected what we encountered that night. It's an eerie place at the best of times, and the night just deteriorated.
I don't feel right.
You're just moving.
I'm feeling a bit strange, to be quite honest.
What happened to me and what happened to other people, I've never really spoke about since that night.
We were taught a lesson that night. We were definitely taught a lesson.
The crew teamed up en route, forming a 4x4 convoy as the vehicles slowly snaked their way along the narrow country lanes and up to the hill.
It's weird to think 10 years though.
Yeah,
10 years.
What sticks in your mind most about it?
For me, it was loads of bad luck afterwards.
Really?
Yeah, loads of bad luck afterwards. But not only that, it's when you look back, you just think, what am I trying to say? I know when you have the conversation, the ghosts exist and things like that.
Right.
That night, it always keeps in my head, and it's always the thought of something just been really weird in that barn with us.
Well, there was definitely some kind of presence, whether or not that's scientifically explainable, I don't know. But that night was certainly a spooky old night. Plenty of people would attest to the fact that something was a bit strange going on, to say the least. Yeah.
It's been 10 years since we decided to come to here to Pendle to conduct the paranormal investigation into the possibility of the fact that the spirits of the Pendle Witches still wandered around this part of the world. And we've decided to come back and just rekindle the memories of it and see whether or not maybe something, who knows, maybe something might pop up along the way.
What gives you the right to tell us to leave? What gives you the right to tell us to leave? Did you own this barn?
Oh, I'm battling, guys, I'm battling. Oh, they can do stuff through us.
We're opening a door to bring the witches back. I'd like you to speak to us,
I think
please.
I just picked up like a growl, if you will.
Fucking hell. Shit, there's someone there. No, please flash the. Oh, fucking hell, it's fire, jeez. I thought it was a fucking skeleton face there. Well, it was Jake. I really shit it then when I seen that.
Is it?
It's soon gone, hasn't
I can't believe it's 10 years.
I know.
It feels like yesterday.
I know it does, doesn't it?
I remember it
Yeah.
so clearly.
Yeah, it's so vivid in the mind.
The one thing that's pretty obvious at the moment is the weather's a lot better than it was.
Well, yeah, definitely.
Oh,
I think,
my goodness.
You know, if you're going to talk about memories, you know, what it was like, I think for me, as soon as, if you remember when we got there, and that episode with the sheep.
The sheep,
yeah.
yeah.
You know,
Just
that
so
got all
bizarre.
hey, listen, I know that they die and what have you, but in terms of it was bang on cue, really. Wasn't it?
Come round the corner, looked at us, and it just keeled over, didn't it?
Yeah.
So what about because you were
strange.
really affected by quite
Yeah,
what was
I
going
was,
on, and especially
yeah.
Neil as well. Neil
was bad. He took a real bad turn, especially just after the seance, weren't it? I think.
Yeah, well, I was stood
When we
above
was in
him
the farm.
filming, and I could see vaguely something moving in me out of camera shot, and I looked down and put the camera down. It was Neil swaying, and then I could see him go in, and then I kept looking, and I couldn't quite see, so I had to put my camera off the barn down to Neil, and then he just collapsed.
We call forward the spirit of any of the Pendle Witches tonight. This is your area. This is your area. Are we welcome here? Do something to let us know you're here.
Something feels really bad.
Paul's really struggling now.
Is it paranormal like you're experiencing, Paul, or is it just you?
We asked for a miracle here.
So what are you going to do? Do you want to speak? Do you want to speak through Paul?
The door is opening.
What? What is this? Are you saying
To
you
leave.
open the door, last chance to leave? Well, we're not leaving. We're not leaving. What do you say to that?
The door's just shit. Don't panic.
Right,
Don't
okay.
panic. Keep calm, everyone.
Shh. Who are you?
I think one of the most interesting aspects from my point of view was what was happening in the barn when we did the seance. I could feel this energy that was coming up behind me, and I was doing my best to kind of keep a protective umbrella over everybody. But this entity, whatever it was, seemed to single Neil out, and I had quite a battle trying to stop her from getting to him. All in vain in the end, because she did manage to get through, and it affected Neil quite badly. But it wasn't any sort of form of possession that I was going through. It was just a battle trying to stop this thing, because the whole night was getting worse, and I really didn't know what was going to happen once she got past me.
There's something about the door, the barn door.
It kept slamming.
It kept
slamming, didn't it? And
yeah.
it was quite a heavy
Yeah,
door,
it was
wasn't
a
it?
big door. Well, we did wedge it shut, but it were a bad night though.
We need the name of the person who shut the door. Who has shut that door? Why have you closed the door? Are you trying to keep us here? We're not leaving. What do you say to that?
Because all those names and dates were scribed in the door
right,
as well. That were freaking.
1933 G Gal.
You go grab them last two chairs.
1897 October the 14th JR. Seth.
And then I think there's an 1897.
1897
JRX.
JC.
Yeah, I know that the barn actually did post-date the actual event of Pendle Witches and stuff like that, but it's still the area, isn't it? You know, I mean, if they were going to be doing their thing, then this is where they would have been doing
Oh
it.
yeah,
isn't it?
definitely,
You know,
definitely. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a fascinating thing. And, you know, it is one of those things to kind of come back here and see it again. It is a bit bizarre. Actually, it does bring back, you know, some memories. Because it was one of those things that, I can't turn around and say that, you know, there was something massively conclusive from my point of view that night, but there was definitely
It was
something.
strange.
More
It was
something
very, very
else,
strange.
You know,
Yeah.
and I think that was, yeah.
I think I noticed it more in the morning after a raging night. I mean, that storm that we had.
Yeah.
And then
Again, that was
all of a
something
sudden,
that picked up when we got there.
yeah,
Yeah.
it started getting more savage as the night progressed, didn't it?
Yeah.
But then in the morning time,
Silence.
total silence. There was no morning chorus of the birds, was there?
And
It was
the other
total
thing,
dead
because
silence, weren't it?
you just reminded me then about when we on the night time when we went, we had a walk. 'Cause it was like wasn't it like a little river?
Yeah.
We went
down
like
the side.
a little river kind of way, and I remember going over there thinking there was almost something weird about the elements that night. You know, because the storm was in, and it was almost as if the elements were trying to tell you something.
Stay in this barn. That's exactly what they were telling us. Yeah. And when we were in there, they were trying to get us out.
I think if you were going to make if you were going to make a film, a horror film, you wanted those
That
kind of
night, yeah.
definitely.
Oh yeah, it had the hay bales, didn't it? All
Yeah.
all
Plenty
lined
of
up
it.
at the
Plenty
side.
of it. What do we say?
I remember being very scared about a red light that was moving, and it was the microphone, which was just above the table.
Of course, isn't it? I've never expected anything.
Oh shit! Oh.
I don't ever want to go back in that barn, do what we did with amateurs, the people that don't know what they're doing, and we did have a professional in our midst, a professional medium. I don't know. I haven't spoken to Paul since. Really, because I've never really wanted to go back to it, and I don't think I'd do it again. I don't think I'd ever go into that barn again and do what we did.
You know, whether you want to sort of buy into, is it the witches playing with you? I mean, I've encountered the witches before on previous things, you know. Was it a case of they knew we were there and didn't want us to leave, or just having a bit of fun? I don't know. It certainly made an interesting episode.
Paul, I mean, I want to try and get everybody's kind of recollection.
Yeah, I know what you're going to say. What I said earlier on today in the car about the bad luck.
Yeah.
Well, it was actually, I'll never forget the night I was showing my parents the what do you call it? The
Rushes of
light.
yeah.
And the moment that Paul said, "You're all cursed," God, did they go mad.
They were mad at me.
Last. Okay.
They came. And I said, "What? What? 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 What?
And what are you going to do?
But not long after that, I lost my radio show, which I'd had for years. I then came out of an 8-year relationship, and then I just had a year of hell. It was just like the year of hell. And it was only probably sort of 6 months into it that my mum actually, bit odd that she sort of brought it up again, but she said, I'll never forget that guy saying you're all cursed, and then you've just entered into like this year from hell, from nowhere.
You feel as though perhaps maybe there was some validity in what he was saying then, that maybe you were cursed?
All I can say is when we were coming up to 10 years of this programme, I sort of look back to the DVD, and the moment that you say that, it does really send a funny feeling down me.
Paul's face is morphing, I'm sure.
Definitely feel something in that barn with us.
Right.
You know, and everybody picked up on it, didn't they?
Yeah.
It weren't just me hallucinating or whatever, imagining it. It was definitely something untoward that happened. Especially looking at Neil, what happened to Neil.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never seen Neil like that. I've known Neil for many, many years, and he's straight as a guy, Neil. He's not going to bullshit about anything like that. Something happened to Neil that night, and I think it all had a bit of an effect on everybody, I think.
I think we got more than we bargained for.
Definitely.
What's actually happening at the moment, we've got a problem with a member of the crew. Not a psychic member of the crew or anything, just a member of the crew who is, the way I can describe it, is overcome with emotion. We don't know why. There's most definitely something. To say it's not right probably wouldn't be the correct thing to do, but there's a weird atmosphere about this place. We've seen things moving around on the outside. We've seen shadows, sensations, people feeling kind of, I don't know, illnesses and things like that. We don't know what's happening. And we're going to take a break at the moment because it's needed. Some people do need to step out for a bit, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to take stock of things, and then hopefully we'll be able to move on.
I can't believe that so much happened, and so many things happened after that. It gave me a massive respect for the spirit world. I think we were dabbling in something that we were very amateurish at. We didn't know what we were doing. We're enticing things to happen, and they did happen. Because 2 years after that, I don't think I ever had a worse run in my life of bad luck, ever. And I would never want to go there again where I've been. And the respect I give the spirit world now, in comparison to what I did then, is massive. And I think I can speak for a few people from that night. It was a scary night, and we all took it quite boisterously. We thought it was a laugh, we thought it was a joke, and it was good. It was a good night, but I think we all paid the price for taking it not as seriously as we should have done.
It's not really something you can talk to people about because you've got your believers, your non-believers, etc. So you have to be careful who you talk to about. But the bad luck I had afterwards was unbelievable. We're talking job losses, relationship losses, losing the house. It was just bad luck, and that bad luck lasted for 2 years and then just literally went away as if nothing, it just went.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this content and would like to see more, please like and subscribe.